Okay, how about that? Here we go. They probably hear us now. Hey guys, sorry about that. Yeah, I hope we're we're live now. Are we live? Of course we are. There's people on
all
here.
they can hear is
No. They can hear us now. They can hear us. If you have just joined us, can you hear us now?
yeah, they can.
Just let us. That would be great. The silent movie is awesome.
Should we do that? A silent Tuesday tune.
That would be crazy. Dave, I've just noticed you're not wearing North Face anymore.
No, it's not happening.
Who is this brand?
This is actually a premium brand. Look at that. Look how stretchy that t-shirt is. It's good.
Mate, that is good.
Yeah. No, that's it now. They ruined it. There's no more North Face now.
Is that's completely out of your shop window now?
It's a problem because I've got a fair few North Face t-shirts. It's going to cost me a fortune, so I hope they're happy with themselves.
Wow.
The only one I'll probably still break out is you know the Pride one on Pride Day that
I do. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'll break that one out every now and again.
Let's see who's on here though, because yeah, we were reading some names out and clearly you can hear us. So yeah, we got Mona, we got Laura, we got Rebecca, Butterflies and Bees, Marky V, of course. We got Shona, we got Laura again, we got Leah all the way from Australia. Sophie Hurst, how you doing, mate? We got Rob, Daryl. Here we go, Stuart, Diane. Great stuff. Oh, great to see so many people on as well, and I hope all is well. Hope you all had a wonderful Jubilee weekend, whatever you were up to. Any parties, any hangovers, any hikes? I saw some great pictures on Facebook. It seems like you guys are all out hiking as usual and doing what you do best. But yeah, today, Dave, we were kind of looking at what we wanted to talk about today, and we were like, let's talk about weather.
Yeah, we're British. It's only right that we have a good old conversation about the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something we've all got to fight on every single trip that we go on, and it's something that I think you're amazing at ignoring.
Well, the weather.
Yeah. It doesn't really affect you in any negative way. Where if I wake up on a Sunday and we've agreed to go on a hike and the rain is lashing against the window, the first thing I think is, okay, so when are we going to reschedule? You wake up, the rain's lashing against the window, and you think, this is amazing. This is the best thing that could have happened.
It's all character building, Dave. I think if you've ever been on a training weekend with us, clearly we plan them for the summer because summer in Wales means rain. Which is all winter. Planned, and so does winter, and so does the rest of it.
Spring.
Spring. Yeah. Any other seasons? Autumn. There we go.
There
we go. Pretty much rains a lot. It's not raining today though. Anyway, I sound a bit like Michael Fish giving some. Okay, so today it's going to be a little bit cloudy in the north. I kind of want to get away from that, but no, we want to talk about weather because we have had questions around, different treks at different times of the year.
Yeah.
And what's the weather like at different times of the year? And so, if there's any questions around this, guys, do post them in before we kind of delve deep into it. We'll start off talking about the kind of usual trips. On a basic level, I mean, if, for instance, you were thinking about dates, you were thinking about your trips, all you have to do really is to go on the website. The dates that we do choose anyway are there because they're in the best weather regions. The ranges, I should say. So, for instance,
I was going to say we do run some trips in Wales. That's not strictly the best weather.
No. But like we're talking about like Nepal. We start with Nepal. And the spring and the autumn trekking seasons.
Yeah.
The reasons we put dates there is to fit with the best weather because we don't want that to impact the trip in some way. I mean, naturally, you go into the Himalayas, it's going to be challenging. Weather can happen at any time. It's just like here in the UK or even Australia. Weather can come out of nowhere sometimes. And some mountains and some mountainous regions, they seem to have their own microclimate. The mountains make their own weather, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter where you go, but I think generally there are some preferred times to go. And I know talking about Nepal, we talked about the spring. Spring is a little bit different to the autumn, isn't it? I always find spring is a bit more lush.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything's more flowers.
Really difficult even for me to take a bad picture in spring.
Yeah.
Just because all the flowers, the cherry blossoms, particularly a memory I have walking down from Tengboche. You go through these rhododendron trees.
Yeah.
And when they're in bloom, they look beautiful. I think also with the spring, you're coming off the back of winter and going into the monsoon. So it's one of those where later in the season, you might experience more rain. And I know we had a couple of Lukla flights delayed in mid to late May. In the autumn, it's the opposite. You're coming off the monsoon, so you're more likely to get sort of weather delays in the early September period. And although it's not spring, so things aren't blooming, I love the cold crispness of the Himalaya,
especially in the mornings.
The sky's like glass when you wake up, so you can just see all the mountains revealed perfectly. And yeah, it can be cold, but I don't mind the cold. I say I don't mind the cold. I don't like sleeping in the cold. I don't like waking up in the night to go to the toilet and it's -5, -10. But I like trekking in the cold.
Yeah, me too.
It means you can kind of exert yourself without the risk of overheating, which is why if someone, bent my arm behind my back, and I think my personal favorite time of year to go is probably the end of autumn.
Yeah,
end of autumn, early winter.
I mean, anytime you go, as you said, anytime you go to Nepal, and a lot of Evertrekkers on here, have already been to Nepal. Any newbies that haven't, definitely anytime you go, you're gonna have a great time. But on the shoulders of the seasons, if you like, so you're looking at the March time, which is early spring, maybe coming off the back of winter. It is colder. You got more chance of snow. That when you go then to the end of that season, sort of the May into June, you are risking it because it's starting to warm up a bit. So there might be a bit more rain as you're going down towards Lukla, for instance. I know, not sure if Mick's on here this week, but off the back of his trek to Island Peak, where he did Ultimate Island Peak, and this was in May. The last day he got drenched on the way back to Lukla. I know we've done it when we went in September.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know that's haunted your memories.
That was horrendous. Well, this is where I get to boast and talk about how manly I am. That we had a couple of clients with us who didn't have rain jackets.
That's
right.
So
I had two, so I gave them away, thinking it's unlikely to rain, but they'll feel more comfortable having them. And then the heavens opened. The heavens above the heavens opened. Every single heaven that's ever existed opened, and it was just, I was like a drowned rat. I didn't have a single waterproof item on me. It was I bought an umbrella.
You did bring an umbrella.
Not ashamed of it.
And it was funny though, because I remember getting to Lukla. Probably, fair dues, you were great. You waited with your dad. I was probably an hour and a half ahead of you.
Yeah, I think you abandoned me.
It's the end of the trip, to customers. But I remember getting back and peeling the layers, and it was like peeling a layer of skin. It formed that closer bond with the amount of water that happened. But anyway, that is September. I know there was a quick question, and it didn't sound like September is awful. It's not. It can be amazing. It really can.
It's just early. We went a bit early.
It's risky, isn't it? It is a risk if you go to September.
Yeah, rather than avoiding those seasons, it's just better to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
By having perhaps, if you are, because sometimes people can only go in September, they can only go in like the end of May. And that's really when the the other side of it is winter, so it's cold. To me, that's just like, okay, you're cold. But it doesn't really cause any major issues. It's the monsoon that creeps in towards the end of May, and then it creeps in, and then it sort of lingers into September. You just need to be aware of that, and you can still go have an amazing time. The views will be stunning, but just have a few extra days perhaps. As a bit of a buffer. So if there is a delay, we had a delay, but luckily we had about 3 extra days.
We had a few, exactly. We weren't in a rush to get back.
Exactly. So, I mean, no one wants to hang around in Lukla for longer than they need to when they want to get back to Kathmandu. And obviously the converse is probably even worse, where you want to get there, but the flight's delayed. But our guys over there, Anuj and his team, I mean, this is why, again, we only use local support and local staff, because they are able to respond so quickly to changes in weather because they've got those connections. They can speak to people. We can have helicopter backups. We've really, I mean, I can't remember a time where we've not been able to, manage the weather in a way that,
there's always something can be done. There's always something. I mean, this is when you have people on your side. It's a lot easier to kind of think, okay, right, they can make that happen for us, because it is challenging. I went there, before Evertrek even existed, and luckily I had a local guide who kind of sorted things, but it was looked after. I felt like I was being looked after, and it made a heck of a difference. That if I'd have to handle that on my own, and it really, really does make a difference. And I think it was Georgie actually who asked, how's it at the end of September when I'm there? The end of September going into October is actually a really nice time to trek. It's just, as Dave mentioned there, you just have to be prepared that sometimes it does rain in September. I think whether it's, climate change or whether it's just, maybe kind of just the way it is at the moment, because it kind of ebbs and flows. And George, you don't want to rain on your parade. Excuse the pun.
Nice.
I know, had to get it in. But yeah, some people are moving to October, November, and then we're trying to maybe squeeze a couple of trips into December, just because the season's kind of moving a little bit. But look, if you want to stay in September, mate, we've got a lot of people going this September. It's you will have an awesome time.
I've been.
Just bring. You've been. Yeah, I've been twice in September, and had an amazing trip. So yeah, you're gonna have an awesome time, mate. Awesome time. Just bring the the waterproofs just in case.
Yeah, exactly. I always, pretty much on every trip I go on to, even when we went to Morocco, which was roasting.
Yeah.
Still have my waterproof trousers in the day pack. They sort of sit at the bottom of my day pack permanently, to be fair, because you just never know when you're going to need them. And my Gore-Tex jacket is always either being worn or in the bag anyway, because it's a great wind stopper, keeps you warm. We should probably talk about the other most popular trip that we have, which is Kilimanjaro. You don't so much have the weather doesn't really cause delays on Kilimanjaro because it's only an international flight. We can walk in the rain, but I say it's pretty much the only climb where you're going to guarantee to get a couple of showers,
especially the jungle regions.
Yeah,
as you're going through there, you can. Because I forgot who asked. It might have been Diane actually asked about out of all the trips, which is the one that gets rained on. There we go. Likely to be rained on. Hey Diane. It's and you're right. Kili's the one, isn't it? If it's going to be one, especially lower down, even for a day, you see all the porters and the guides. They've got ponchos with them. So highly recommend bringing a poncho for Kili just for the first day or two, and it goes over your day pack as well. I mean, because most people have got like waterproof covers for day packs. They usually come with the bags. If they don't, and your bag hasn't got one, highly recommend getting one for Kili. Just to keep all your gear nice and dry. And also as well, some people they have dry bags in their day pack. So just to keep, if you've got like power banks or anything, any electrical goods, although you kind of trust your bag and you trust the waterproof cover of the bag, it just gives you a little bit more confidence. That if it does really lash down, that your stuff's all right.
Yeah, I mean, Kili's it creates its own microclimate, doesn't it? So you're guaranteed to get a few showers, particularly probably in the first, I would say, 4 days. I think the last shower we walked in was Lava Tower Day. We got to Lava Tower, right. It started, and then we had a shower pretty much down to Barranco, and then it didn't rain again. And that's because from there you're leaving the jungle area, aren't you, and going into like the Alpine desert region. It's a fascinating though, because you can be in Moshi and it'll be 30 degrees and it'll be boiling, not a cloud in the sky. You take a 20-minute drive to the Lamosho gate where you start trekking, and within 5 minutes it'll shower on you, but it'll still be dry in Moshi. Because Kili, like when you see the pictures of it poking through the clouds, it's got about 5 different sort of climate zones in there. But I definitely noticed the difference when I was there, because as you remember, and I forgot waterproofs.
I do remember
my Kili trip.
You had to wear those really, really tight waterproofs.
Yeah, the guide gave me, and they were they didn't fit very well. Yeah, they're fit boys. Yeah, they're fit boys. They are. I was afraid to sneeze the whole time I had them on. They were good though. They were Arc'teryx. Yeah. But I've noticed a big difference though between sort of in Nepal, you probably won't see that many people wear ponchos, maybe the porters and stuff like that. But on Kili, everyone uses them because the showers come and go so quickly. You don't want to stop, get changed with trousers. It takes time. Everyone whips a poncho over, walks in the rain, whips it off again, stuffs it in a pocket, and that's pretty much how they deal with it.
And it's and even this is any time of the year, because there are dry seasons, and some of our trips do run then, but sometimes it can rain. Can't get it, especially with the jungle. It can do. You can get lucky, and it doesn't. But I think it's just good to be prepared for it. If you go in the dry season, so if you're moving in sort of middle of the year, then you're gonna be probably fine. But it's just good to be prepped for it. Leah's asked a good question actually. Do you get bag sweat in Kili?
So 2 things. That means like either the bag kind of getting its own humidity, or the bag sweating, or the big patch it leaves on your back.
I think it's internally, right, Leah? Because it's not that
I've not noticed it.
No,
really.
it's not as, because I know with the tropical regions, yeah, especially Australia, you can get a lot more humidity. It's kind of it's a different feeling on Kili. I've never known it. That being said, it'd be interesting to hear if anyone else has had that experience. I never had that problem. I've not heard of any other trekkers having that problem, but
No.
would be interested to hear.
I've never experienced it, but it's because the temperatures I don't think are that high.
Yeah.
You know, so
On the
although
mountain.
although it's raining, it's probably raining for different
Yeah.
you know, different reasons than it is perhaps in the tropics.
Yeah.
It's more to do, I think, with like convection and clouds and things like that. But yeah, it's never something that I've actually dealt with. I mean, I've had it loads of times where my, you know, when your stuff gets really cold and it gets like that layer of ice on it. In Garrickshire, I woke up and I left my duffel bag open in the night, which I always recommend closing and sealing. But when I opened it, I left it open, and yeah, there was a layer of like frost on there. So all the clothes I put on that day were like a bit damp and a bit cold. So that was fun. So yeah,
just
never had that. Sweat.
Georgia as well. Yeah, can't be any worse. Scotland Mountain in winter. That's what Gore-Tex is for. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's a very good point. And I also, who was it that put in here? I put it something about crisp packets. Here we go. I think it was Jane actually. Someone I follow on Insta refers to a waterproofs as crisp packets. Exactly. That's exactly what they're like. Hopefully, I mean, you would sweat if you wore a crisp packet. Just putting it out there. But yeah, really good point. So yeah, that's Kili in a nutshell. It's, again, can rain any time of the year. But you know, if you're going in dry season, you know, 9 times out of 10 you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Across the whole trip. Any other time of the year, you know, definitely be prepared. But once you're above the cloud cover, it's amazing. I mean, you can get some snow. You know, if you go in sort of earlier in the year, like we went February into March, you can get some snow on the summit sometimes, which is pretty nuts. You know, it's mad thinking that you're looking down to the kind of plains of Africa, which, you know, are arid and dry and quite clay and red, and then you're on a glacier on top of a dormant volcano that's starting to snow. It's just surreal, but again, that's one of the reasons why
it's strange. I tell you what, the biggest thing that kind of shocked me with Kili was just how vast Kilimanjaro is, because it's sort of like a mega volcano, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like one of those. It's not like the ones I used to think of as a kid. You know, where you can really kind of get a sense of the crater when you're on the crater rim, which is where Kibo, which is where we trekked to, which is the highest point on the crater rim. You wouldn't really know except for when you were looking on a certain part, so you were actually walking along the crater. But it is fascinating, yeah. I've gone back in February, I think.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, because John's going, isn't he?
I think
John from Wrekin.
We haven't firmly landed on a date yet, but we're thinking preliminary February.
Oh, nice. Yeah, do it, Dave. Smash it, mate. Just reading some comments here. Oh, Marky V, incidentally, congrats to Wales for getting to the World Cup. Thank you, mate. Yeah, first time in 64 years. Yeah. Qatar, well, we've been to Qatar a few times. Not for football, but yeah, do you think it's coming home? It's already home for us, you know, to be fair. We're happy just to get to a World Cup, but you never know. I mean,
come on, man, that's a very defeated attitude, mate.
No, I'm really happy whatever happens. I really am.
Yeah.
But we're playing England, which is going to be.
I think they could
win. For you guys, is it coming home for England? Who knows? I think England got a strong chance. Anyway, I know we digress. I could talk about football all day, but yeah, wish England all the best as well, and any other country that's in there. Yeah, good luck. It's going to be great. Well, we got USA, England, and I think Israel or Iran. I can't remember now, but yeah, it's going to be really good.
It's going to be some good soccer.
Anyway, why not test out the flights to Qatar? You can do that in November, December, and yeah, that's all halfway. Maybe you could stop there halfway on route to another trip, right? That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Although it will be expensive because
it's going to be
the amount of Welsh going there.
It's going to be insane. Yeah.
Brilliant. But yeah, so moving off Kili then, let's go talk about Machu Picchu, because this is one that does get a lot of queues and queues around it. And when we're looking at temperature, I mean, any time of the year is not good on Machu Picchu. There are certain times we kind of we kind of recommend not going, because it does rain quite a bit there. Obviously, you're not a million miles away from the Amazon, so you can imagine the types of climate. Leah, obviously, you know, in tropical Australia, very, very similar. But with Machu Picchu, if you go, say, March, April time, it's probably going to rain. Then when you move into kind of May, you're coming into the dry season. And then when you go into really June or July, they're the kind of busiest, most popular times because they have the best weather. And you will see a lot of our dates are those kind of, so May onwards, and essentially the kind of end of spring, summer is kind of the best time. It's not saying you couldn't go any other, because majority, it's like anything, you can go anytime to Everest Base Camp. We don't run anytime, but you can go anytime to Base Camp. We know there's probably people that trekking there right now, but it's just risky with the weather because it's monsoon season.
That's it. I think Machu Picchu, you're not going to have any delays like Lukla. You just might have to experience a little bit of sort of rain, which, it doesn't put me off going on these trips, because I think to myself, this isn't like I'm going on holiday to sit on a beach for a week where you don't want any rain. This is like a trekking adventure. So, any of the weather that's thrown at you and stuff like that is just all part of it. So, but you are right. We do try and channel our trips into dates
100%. You can have the best, the best experience. And, because if it's nice weather, awesome. If it's bad weather, you're like, I'll deal with it, but you prefer some good weather. But anyway, just for Kevin Beaver, hey Kev, how's it going? Geordie Kev, hi Tim Llanberis for the Wales England game, great stuff, mate. Yeah, I met Kevin there last year, wasn't it, Kev? I think he's now booked in on a couple of trips. But Kev, hope all is well. I saw you out and about hiking, mate. But I think it was with the escapees, wasn't it? So great to see you're out and about with the Evertrek community, mate. It's brilliant. Always, you never know if you're sitting in a pub. I could just walk in. You never know. It's mad how life works, isn't it? But Kev, absolute pleasure to catch up, mate, and can't wait to meet you again. But right, Dave, should we with Machu Picchu? Sorry, I know we covered Nepal, covered Kili, Machu Picchu. Temperatures then. Let's talk about temperatures a bit, because especially with Machu Picchu, it's one of our I'd say warmest trips that we've got in terms of on the trek. Right? It doesn't really drop below zero that much.
Not really, no. I mean, it may do in the night. As you get to the higher altitudes, it might sort of dip below zero. But generally speaking, it's quite a warm, mild trip. It doesn't sit on the extreme at either end. Which is really good, because it just means that, although we always say prepare for 4 seasons on every trip, on this one you're not really going to experience, like, it's not like those of you that experience Gorekshep, when it's like -20. That's sort of a bit of a rare occasion for that to happen. But so nice. 2 thumbs up for Dave's shirt selection today.
I know, they're loving it, mate.
They're noticing it, mate. They're noticing. I'm wondering,
go for it. Sorry, I'm trying to find something.
Should we fire into some questions?
Yeah. I'm just trying to find something I wanted to share, but it's okay.
That's all right.
We'll crack on. We'll, this is all live. This is all good.
Yeah. So Emily Rogers has said, looking to do the Annapurna Base Camp in May next year. For most of the trip, we will be looking to wear shorts and a light jacket, or more trousers and a big coat. So to be honest, during the daytime when you're trekking, if you're going in May, you're probably going to be fine in shorts and t-shirt. A lot of people do trek like that, particularly in the early sections of the trip. You will definitely need to bring some trousers and some warmer clothes, because as you get higher in altitude, it does get colder and colder and colder. Also, in the evenings and stuff like that, it will get cold. May is not the same every year. Sometimes it's warmer, sometimes it's cooler. I've been in May one time, and it was, April we went in, and the Everest region, to be fair, and it was snowing, and we had blizzards and things like that. And it's pretty unpredictable. So I would say, bring some shorts and t-shirts, trek light, trek cool, but also bring some warmer stuff as well, because you will definitely need it, particularly when you're going over like Thoring La Pass and stuff like that. It's going to get very tough, very cold, high altitude stuff. So you're going to want to, again, prepare for the 4 seasons.
Yeah, definitely. Annapurna Base Camp as well. I say, because I know Marky V's just done it with Sandra and the rest of the Evertrek team in May. Congratulations, Marky V. Pictures looked amazing. I'll have to get some of them off you. But no, really, really, really good, mate. Proud of you guys for doing it as well. I know you've been planning that for some time. So I'm going to jump ahead here just because I've seen it. But I think Sophie asked about best time to go to K2. I know you go in a few years. To be honest, and you mentioned school holidays there. We only actually run the trips in July and August. So perfect. Which is, it's mad because we usually don't run too many trips in the middle of the year, but I think with the scope of trips we've got now, we're so used to running certain trekking seasons. But with K2 base camp in Pakistan, you'll see all the dates of, unless I'm mistaken, I think all the dates are July and August.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sophie, have a look, mate. I'm not sure we got any 2025 dates out yet, but I'm sure we can put one in. If you guys wanted to book in, I'm sure we could sort that out for you. But yeah, it'd be great to have you on another trip, Sophie.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw you just come back from the Arctic. I hope it was good. Looked amazing, by the way. Well, jealous.
I love the Arctic.
I know.
It's on my.
Sophie was Svalbard, wasn't it? It was Svalbard. It looked amazing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I have a quick question from Georgie Clark again. Any plans for somewhere different, like the Dolomites in Italy? We looked at the Dolomites.
Yeah.
We definitely
want on the agenda, definitely.
Yeah, we definitely want to move into a couple of European countries and get some trips out there. Just because one, it's very convenient and close. So you don't need to take in a massive amount of time off to go over there and experience it. But it's a little bit different than doing business in our usual spots, which are more remote and far flung. So it's about trying to find the best team over there that we can use to make those trips like an Evertrek trip, because we like our trips to run pretty much the same way every time, which is you have guided support from local companies, so you get to learn as well as trekking, and you get to sort of really immerse yourself in the experience. We are looking into it. It's a case of watch this space. I don't know if it'll be done in sort of the near future, but definitely. Well, I'd say near future. Yeah, not too far away. We can't really put a time scale on it because we haven't really landed on a point where we can start building it yet. But we are looking at it.
Definitely. I think Europe's a big one for us. I think we're so used to running, things so far away, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. We've, Iceland is certainly one that will be released very soon, and also as well in the Pyrenees, because these are ones that we've recently kind of got up and running, if you like, and we're not a million miles away from doing it over the next kind of month or two. It's just that we've essentially, a lot of you have been part of this journey for some time now. With us, I know you've been a part of the community for a very long time, and it's so thanks, a million thanks for sticking with us, and it's amazing. But we, a big part of it for us was that we had to concentrate. Really, our focus was about getting back to running trips. After a mad 2 years, so we've had to prioritize a lot of internal stuff, resources, etc., just to make sure that we wanted to make sure those trips are as awesome as possible. So yeah, definitely the other trips that we've, there's a lot of things that we've had to kind of bump a little bit along. We've got some great stuff coming over the next year, guys. We're really excited. I don't want to give too much away, but we, because I hate start saying like this, and then it's like, oh, we're 6 months down the line. But we got some really exciting stuff for Evertrek in the future. And these would have already been here if it wasn't for COVID, but it has slowed us down a little bit, but it's not going to stop us. We're really excited about like a lot of different things, and it's not just Europe either. Like I know Sophie, you mentioned Svalbard and things like that. There's so many adventures that are out there. There's no limit really. We obviously don't want to go too far because we're quite specialist, and all but one of our trips are high altitude, so we feel like we're high altitude specialists. So there has to be some difficulty with it, but certainly we're going to be expanding our products, if you like. It's just a matter of time now. So won't be long. I know you're really excited to get back, and Dolomites is amazing. Talk about Svalbard, that's awesome. We talk about maybe going to Antarctica, even maybe not maybe, definitely the summit of Everest. There's so much on the agenda. So keep joining these tune-ins, keep up to date. Obviously you're all on our list anyway. You're in the Facebook group, of course. And honestly, as soon as we've got dates or specific prices for any of these offerings we've talked about, and there's a couple coming soon, we'll let you guys know, because we know you're as excited as us to go on these things. And we're really excited about it. Really excited.
I want to.
Sorry, I tangent there, but I just need to explain it.
No, mate, that's fine. I can't wait. So we have Davey Remington has said, what about South Pole Expeds? There's a 5-day 60-mile trek ski called The Last 62 Degrees. I'm pretty sure I heard of that. I'm pretty sure I spoke to some guys at the travel show that were doing something along those lines.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Honestly, yes, every single one of your recommendations is probably something that we've already looked at, but it does take time to build. So, like you were saying, in the future, these things will be around, but it's just a matter of trying to, pick which ones we focus on first and which ones we get there first. So, some of the stuff they were talking there about, who were they tracking about? Someone who had a traumatic brain injury and then
I think it was Jane. What is it? I think it was Jane. Yeah,
I can't see it in the comments. Jane, post a link. I want to look up on that. I find that interesting.
30% vision in one eye. She's doing the 14 peaks. Yeah, I've been reading about that. She's awesome. I've forgotten her name now, but I think she's got the new world record now. I think she's done like 6 peaks in. She beat Nims's record.
Oh, that's her.
I think that's if I'm correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think she did. She did 6-8,000ers, didn't she? In something in like a few weeks and beat Nims's record for the fastest 6-8,000ers.
I'm sure he'll get it back. You know what he's like.
Yeah, he's probably.
I love the bits, but he needs those records.
So another quick question here from Laurie Moody. It's not weather related.
That's fine.
Can we answer that?
Of course.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay.
All right, maybe not. No, I'm only joking. Okay. Any question, guys? This
not weather related, but how soon before my EDC start date should I expect the Evertrek pack?
Good question.
It's a very good question. Lauren, who's on the phones, might actually type a more accurate response. This is where Lauren is biting her nails now. That I'm gonna say you'll get it in. You'll get it straight this time, and it won't be. We basically, because we wanted them all to be individualized, so they're not just like a standard thing that we can order in bulk and then just post out. They're all printed specifically with your name, your trip, your itinerary. So it does take a little bit of time, and we try to get through them in sort of trip order. So we do arrange to get them. I think anything between a few months to a few weeks before you go, right?
Yeah,
is realistically when they're going to arrive. We are looking at sort of new ways to kind of get that a lot sort of faster and to you a lot quicker. But the thing is, like all of these things, when we launch these planners, we maybe had 300 people a year going to base camp. We're thinking this is an amazing idea. This is great, and it is. Now we have 1,000 people a year pretty much going to Everest Base Camp, plus Kili, plus Machu Picchu, plus Tukal, plus Ecuador, plus and all of these trips. Like I say, it's not just a Nepal one and an African one. It's a Island Peak one. It's a Mera Peak one. It's a Tukal 4-day, Tukal 8-day. So we will aim to get them to you probably within a few months or a few weeks before you go.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're still, we have to prioritize the people. The trips are coming up, and then we do them in nice big batches. So I was trying to find your date then, Laurie. Literally, my phone's playing up, just to find out when you're going. But you'll get it in plenty of time for your trip, and you get your little neck buff as well, so we can see that on the mountains. Hopefully you find it useful. We know a lot of people like to keep it and make notes in it and just have it as a bit of a keepsake, really. Sorry, Dave. Well, there's one on the wall.
Yeah.
I've done something different in the office. Basically, every planner for every country we've done, we've got one done and we put it on the office wall because I like these planners. They're something that we really, really find. Well, I hope you guys find really useful if you've had it. Especially for every trip that you book on, you'll get a different planner. And it's the idea was that you've got something physical to. Because I know people like things digital these days, and we got the app, we got the group, we got the members area. But I thought something physical is always nice to get, and you can just draw on it and write notes and read it. Especially if you're somewhere like once you're on the trek, because people take it on the trek with them, and they just refer back to it a bit, and it's a bit like their Bible, if you like. That we've had some feedback on, which is awesome.
Good scrapbook item.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's got your name on it as well, so which is always a little nice, but. Always quite nice, but it will come in plenty of time. Wicked. Mona's got hers for Tukal. Wicked. Mona, can't wait for you to get on the Tukal trip, mate. You're gonna have a absolutely awesome time.
A good way to get a buff before you get your planner is to come see us at like a travel show.
That's good. There's another reason why she's got a few more.
Yeah, exactly. So come see us at Keswick, the Adventure Travel Show. Anywhere else we're going?
We are up to Gone Wild Festival actually in August.
Yeah.
with Bear Grylls. So yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, so
quite excited about that.
Yeah, if you want to come meet us, you're more likely to get one than not. Or book onto a training weekend. I'm pretty sure we can bring a few up
on the Brit training weekend.
Yeah, so there's plenty of opportunity to get one, but you just have to come and meet us. And and I'll give you one in exchange for booking a trip. Easy.
Right, sorry, I feel like I've skipped ahead of a load of questions there. We've had a bunch come in. Where are we, Dave, with the questions? Any that you want to crack on with?
So let's have a quick look.
Yeah.
So I keep the only one that keeps like showing up on my phone is Leah telling me she likes my t-shirt selection.
I'm just reading that as well. Actually, Jerome just spotted a good one. Yetis are the drying facilities, the tea houses in case of monsoon, rain, etc. So pretty much the way most of the tea houses are built is that in the middle of the tea house, especially the communal area, where you have your your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast, and where you hang out. There's usually and some are different, some are built a bit differently, but I'd say 80% of the time this is how they are. You've got a big kind of cast iron stove in the middle. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting things on there, but the closer they get to that, you can imagine they dry. I mean, unfortunately, because these are essentially people's houses which have expanded to accommodate trekkers. There's no kind of drying room. Some might have done it. Some might be better than others. You might find a hot water pipe you might be able to do it. You might be able to hang it outside and let it dry. Some people do that, especially like if you get to say Namche, and you've got 2 days there, or Dingboche. Some people, maybe they got sweaty clothes, maybe they've washed them. Some people hang them on the back of their day pack while they're walking to dry off in the sun, because the sun can be quite intense during the day. Some of them do have maybe some of the tea houses have a line outside. Have a chat with the owner, say, "Can I dry this?" I'm sure they wouldn't mind. But yeah, there's no specific drying rooms, but I'm sure you'll be fine. But other than that, if it's on the descent back to Kathmandu, just from experience, sometimes you're like, right, okay, those are done now. They're not going to get dry by the next time I wear them.
Yeah,
I'll just dry them when I get home. And they're in my bag until we get back.
I've done a couple of base layers usually because it's nice to have a cleaner one. Yeah. But usually I'll give them a little bit of a scrub. Mostly I think at Dingboche I do it. I can't be bothered in Namche because I haven't really, by the time I get there, I've only done like 2 days trekking.
Yeah.
But when I get to Dingboche, I've done a few more days, and usually there's like, it's quite open. The sun hits the valley, put them on a rock within a few hours, toasty. Although one time I did do it and I went back and it was covered in snow. Because
you never know.
Because you never know. But that's the Himalayan gamble.
The Himalayan gamble.
The Himalayan gamble. Rebecca said, "How about some bright coloured buff guys?" Do you know what? If you want to get some Sharpies and brighten it up, Rebecca, that's fine. But no, we have to stick to the brand.
I know. You never know. We could change it up a bit over the next couple of years.
Do you know what we could do? We could
do
like
some pink ones and orange ones, but they're the same design.
Maybe a special edition buff or something. For like a particular day or something. We'll do a special edition.
Well, we've got a big couple of years coming up in terms of how long we've been going, etc. So you never know. We could do a special edition one. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
I like that. Right, Dave. Any other questions there? I'm just kind of going through.
Yeah, Jane wants us to do the outdoor expo next year.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We'll make a note and have a look at it.
We did look at that this year, actually.
We tried to get out to as many. Our regular spots are the Keswick Mountain Festival and the Adventure Travel Show in London, which obviously got moved. Didn't it?
Yes, they cancelled this year. Well, they rescheduled.
Yeah. They've had we were there, 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And then COVID. Otherwise, we would have been there twice since then. It's a good show, that one. Bit intense, lots of things going on. But
camping, is it? Oh yeah. Sorry, couldn't help it. Intense.
I know, I got it. Yeah.
It took you a while.
Hang on a minute, and can you see that? It's split wide open.
Hey, we're not talking about Tubcar now.
Yeah. Wow. There you are, man. You want to take that one right out the back? There we go.
God, sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, it's fine, mate. No, it's fine. You're right enough.
Brilliant. No. Sorry, mate.
Round 2 coming up.
Round 2 coming up. Mate, you're going to smash it. Yeah. But no, it is really good, the Adventure Travel Show, isn't it? But the Outdoor Expo, we did look at it. There was a reason why we didn't in the end. I don't know potentially what it was. I think it was quite busy. But in the future, we'll definitely look at them. Splash Maps. Andy just, you know what? I used Splash Maps about 6-7 years ago. They're really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
I remember early days, they sent some examples to us. Yeah, we've been looking at that. We're always quite conscious of, you know what we're like. We want to keep the, clearly we like the, you know, we want to make sure it's branded. But yeah, Splash Maps do some really good stuff. You know, I've used them before, and I highly recommend them if there's anyone that wants to get anything from Splash Maps.
Yeah, really, very cool.
Really nice people as well. Met them a few times.
Yeah, I think we saw them at the show, Adventure Travel Show, something
Yeah,
like that.
we did.
I think
Yeah,
they've been on
they
a
were
couple
there.
of shows, met
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys.
They've
That's
grown loads.
Yeah, it's one good thing about this show. You know, we tend to meet so many good people, and
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Get so many good ideas. Keswick was brilliant. I love Keswick.
Keswick was great.
Keswick's hard.
It's a bit different outdoor show, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
bit
again,
intense.
weather.
That is intense.
That is intense.
Yeah.
Well, in gazebos. Right, so look. So I'm just going for Pride Month. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
No, I wear the T-shirt for Pride.
Okay. I think they're talking about getting a Pride buff made up with Evertrek on it.
So I don't wear the T-shirt on. So that's it.
It's up to you.
I could do both.
You can go skins.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Could do it both.
But no, going back to trying to bring it back to weather, just around, you know, anything really. And you know, I know we still got a little bit of time, but when it comes to weather on trips, it is just about having the right gear. You know, majority of you have been on trips with us already. For those that haven't, you know, that if you think about any trip that we really do, okay, we've got some kind of specialist ones. If you're trekking the UK, you've probably got kind of 89% of the gear already. Don't think that you need any massively specialist gear. You probably got it because we're so used to all the conditions that we get here in the UK. You know, you're thinking about waterproof bottoms, you're thinking about a Gore-Tex jacket or Paramo or some form of, you know, obviously some companies have their own version, like Rab. You know, they've got their own. Was it Vaporize? You got so many different materials and technology out there that can help you. Yeah, Pertex. That's it. With
Pertex.
That's for the down jackets, isn't it? For the
yeah, and also the waterproof membrane
really?
as well. Yeah, they have a Pertex membrane as well. That's their own one, and then Gore-Tex, because I think it's relatively similar technology. They just keep it's just in house.
It's just made their own way, and yeah, Rab's good. I mean, all our Evertrek jackets are Rab. You know, the waterproof ones that we wear on the training weekends and all the team get. You know, because we've used them in the Welsh weather. They got smashed. Personally, I've got some other ones like you've got the Berghaus Extreme range. Pricey, you're talking £400 to maybe £650 a jacket, which is nuts. But they are bomb-proof. A bit like was it the Mountain Equipment Lotse jacket, which is, you know, been around for donkey's years, but still they keep bringing it out, and it's still one of the best jackets out there. Yeah, and you can get that for about 200 quid for a Gore-Tex jacket.
Yeah, no, pretty good one. Pretty good.
For a bomb-proof Gore-Tex jacket.
It's one of those where I tend to do a bit of shopping around. Excuse me. You go with the right time of year. That website, Sports Pursuit. You can get really good like Gore-Tex Pro jackets on there with, you know, hundreds of pounds off. Really, really good. I think it's one of those with waterproofing. It is one of those that you get what you pay for, but it's also true. You have to look after them. Yeah. So if you get a £500 Arc'teryx waterproof jacket, and then you don't reproof it and you don't look after it, and you think you can just wear it every day, it will fail just like a £10 one, you know. So it is about looking after them. I've just spotted a little comment that we missed actually.
Oh, really?
From good old John from Braconia.
Hey.
And he asked a question about the Kilimanjaro visa.
Is that for? Oh yeah, because he's thinking about going.
Yeah, so he's thinking about going in February, and he's done a little bit of a pre-look at the visa, and he's been having a little bit of difficulty getting it. Yeah. So thought, okay, we have been aware of this, haven't we?
Is that the visa process online?
Yeah, exactly. Because
a few comments in the group about it, I saw.
Yeah. So with Kilimanjaro, the last time I did it was very easy to go online, and you fill out the online visa process, and it's all very done quite quickly. But as I understand it, a lot of their links aren't working. And I think sometimes the upload feature doesn't work. And so there's a couple of issues with people getting it. My best advice is to persevere, try a number of different things like, you know, head of IT here always helps me, you know, Shift F5, clear the cache, try it in incognito mode, all of that sort of stuff. Try it on your phone, try it on your laptop. But if it doesn't work, the best thing to do is call the embassy. And get some advice on that and actually proceeding with it, because it's in their interest to help you get that visa. That's what they're there for. They have a whole department, I'm sure, set up to kind of help people get through the visa process. And a lot of people, I think, sometimes are hesitant to pick up the phone to the embassies because, you know, they've probably seen it on, like, you know, in more extreme cases, you know, when people get banged up abroad, they're there to help all travelers. So give them a call, explain the situation, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you. We've had a look at it, and it was a little bit glitchy. I did manage to get through a lot of the menu, but some of it, is a bit glitchy. Would you agree, Ant?
Yeah, because I just wanted to go through some of the comments because, you know, obviously it's great that we have the questions on email as well, but I'm conscious about kind of maybe some of the subjects that are kind of, you know, being discussed in the group, and just to, you know, make sure we get those answered. So, you know, good question, John. But it is, I think, one thing I think we're all learning, and I think a lot of Evertrekkers are learning, is that some of the online visa processes aren't as streamlined, or the websites aren't as good as we're used to, you know, for some reason. And I've had this with a few different countries. I remember when I was sorting my, I think it was the pre-arrival form for Morocco.
Yeah.
It was so slow. But I think try and have a little bit of patience with it. I know it's a pain, and you know, I suppose, because it's the same as anything, isn't it? If you kind of try not to worry about it too much, because it will be resolved. And if I always think worst case scenario, although it's not best, if it doesn't work and you can't sort it, you can do it when you arrive. It's not ideal, but at least you know, if it's one thing I've learned about any form of travel, you can generally sort it on the ground. I mean, there are places you can't do that. You know, you've got to, like, you know, with certain countries that we run to, obviously it's a bit more process. You know, thinking like Pakistan, for example. You know, where, you know, fingers crossed. You know, and who knows what will happen with Elbrus and Russia. I mean, that's another story. But you know, again, there's processes you've got to get to when we're able to run to these places. But majority of the time, if it doesn't work online, and even the embassy, it can't be done, you can do it when you arrive. But you're right, though. You mentioned about calling the embassy, or go into the embassy, like especially with the Nepalese visa. Who was it? I think it was Jerome mentioned. A lot of Evertrekkers go to London and get it done if logistically it works for you guys. I know not everyone here lives within driving or train distance to London. You know, wish they had one in Cardiff, or maybe up in Scotland as well, which would be great. But it's it can be a little bit of a ball ache. But hopefully, guys, you know, you sort that out, and you know, because we're not directly involved with the visa process, you know, we can only pass on some of our advice, you know. But we hope you get all that sorted, whether it's by phone or by post, or actually go into these places. You know?
I found with Tanzania, probably the best bet is to call them. Nepal embassy in Kensington, I think it is, in London. You don't need an appointment, but it's always best to call them to make sure they're still open, because I know a couple of people made a long journey to London, and there was actually a festival on in Nepal. They have a lot of festivals. When that happens, they're likely to close and celebrate with their families. So it's always best to call ahead or make sure they're open before you make the journey, because if you do get there and like Tihar or something like that is happening, you'll be banging on the door.
So, and there's a lot of festivals. But so I just read Leah's comment. It's a 17-hour drive from my place to the Nepal embassy in Australia one way. Wow. I mean, that sounds like a heck of a road trip. That sounds awesome. Make a weekend of it.
Australia is unreasonably big, isn't it?
Oh yeah, mate.
It's amazing. When I flew to Australia, I remember when we were like flying, like we entered Australian airspace, and I thought, oh great, nearly there. Ridiculous. It's all like 5 hours.
It's its own continent, really, isn't it?
And what's amazing is when you look down and you're flying over like central Australia, there's these huge swaths of land that just have no light on them. And then you see these tiny little pockets of like little areas. I want to travel around Australia more. My cousins live there. I should really make more of an effort to visit.
Well, Leah, you should go and visit Leah. I'm sure she'd like an invite in the old Bris Vegas.
Yeah, is it? I've only ever been to Sydney.
Ah, mate, you got I mean, I'm very fortunate to have lived out there and absolutely love it. Miss it all the time.
Is it true in Australia? Like, there's a lot of rivalries, isn't there? Don't like the Brisbane people hate the Melbourne people, the Melbourne people hate the Sydney people. Maybe Leah can tell me.
Maybe that's just human beings.
Maybe that's just human beings. Yeah.
Rivalries form everywhere on the planet, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just human beings, I think. I mean, naturally, if there's sport, it creates some sort of rivalry. Yeah, you get your interstate stuff, but. Leah, tell me if I'm wrong, mate. I love all of you.
What's Cairns like? That's hot, isn't it?
Cairns lovely.
That's a place.
Good scuba diving.
It's an amazing word, because by saying it, you end up doing an Australian accent.
You try and do it with a Newport accent. This is going to be hard.
Oh yeah, I have to try and I see. I can't just jump into it. I got
Goldie looking chain.
Goldie looking chain. Yeah, you knows it, bud. I'm on my way to Cairns.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, you knows it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Sorry, I know we digressed then, went into Australia and Newport accents and Goldie looking chain. But that's not bad, actually.
You know, true story.
We love Melbourne.
Twice in my life. I was in Cuba, right, and I was sitting by the pool chatting away, and someone came up to me and said, "Who's from Newport then?" Right.
Well, you obviously heard.
You heard me. Another time, I was in Florida.
Yeah.
On a bus on my way to the airport at the end, and someone stood up and said, "Right, who's from the Goldie looking chain?" Newport, internationally renowned city.
Leah's like, yeah, don't do that accent in Australia. Okay, yeah, you've been pre-warned, Dave.
Yeah,
so
I think
next time you're down under, mate,
that's a slap on the wrist, wasn't it?
Don't go for it. That's a slap on the wrist.
Do you know the thing is? I feel like we have a kindred spirits here, because being Welsh, and we have to put up with quite a lot of, "Oh, you right, but." And,
Brilliant.
Andy does a good Irish accent.
Sometimes, yes, I know.
Let's hear it.
No, not like.
So we've offended the Australians and the Welsh. So we're gonna leave.
If you're ever on a training weekend or a festival, or you meet me in a pub like Kevin did, I'll do an Irish accent for you.
Yeah, Ramona can't do an Irish accent.
Brilliant. God, I feel like we've gone into comedy mode now, Dave, instead of weather. But no, look, I hope you found it useful today. I know whenever we talk about weather, it's, there are good times to go. There aren't. There's never a bad time to go. It's just you're just going to get wet, essentially. Especially like you're thinking about Nepal. You're thinking about high wind. It makes a good point. Jerome put Aconcagua there. Like there are times where it's actually dangerous to go into Aconcagua. That's why the weather window for Aconcagua is only really 6 weeks to 2 months. It's really short weather window for peaks like that.
Yeah.
When you got the weather windows in Nepal, so you've got the spring, and then you've got the autumn. Just to sort of reiterate as well. So Kili, you can do it any time of the year, but if you go in dry season, 9 times out of 10, you'll be fine. Might get a little bit of rain. Any other time, bring a poncho. I know Sophie's going to bring a poncho for Kili. Well done.
100%.
You might get lucky. But whatever happens, you're going to have a great time. Then you're talking about Machu Picchu, like we said. If you can, the dry season kind of starts the end of May. So the most popular times then, the 2 months after that, definitely. But the most popular then, the busiest. So you can go any other time, but which is going to be quieter. But again, risk of some weather and cold. So just things to kind of think about really for those 2 trips. Yeah. Any questions before we go, guys, around weather? Just want to just before we finalise. Unless Dave, you got anything else you want to share today?
I don't know whether I can be bothered. No, yeah, and that's it. And just to echo what Andy said there about the weather, it shouldn't be a deterrent. If it's the only time of year you can go, you shouldn't think, "Oh God, I can't," because that's when there's going to be some rain. If we're running trips, it means that those trips are accessible.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, give us a call, because we can always talk about ways you can sort of get around problems. So, for instance, if you're going to Nepal and it's sort of mid to early September, then perhaps having an extra few days at the end of your trip might be a good idea, just to account for any potential delays. Yeah. But other than that, you're still going to the Himalaya. You're guaranteed to see Everest. You're going to have an awesome time.
Oh, Dave. Apparently, why is Dave's T-shirt spelled backwards?
Have you flipped us?
Shall I try it and see if
this will blow everyone's mind now?
Oh wow, Dave, what's happened?
That's weird, isn't it? That's too what does everyone think about this? Does this work?
No.
Are we on the wrong side?
I think it's definitely the other way around. Let's go back. Let's go back, Dave. Let's go back.
Should we go back? Yeah.
No, just looking at it there. Oh, Haley, you had to bring it to the boots, didn't you? You had to bring it to the boots. Leather or canvas boots for the different weather. I don't know what boots would you use, Dave?
To be honest, I actually use a couple of pairs of boots.
Okay.
So, first of all, answer the question whether or not it's leather or canvas. To be honest, that's a personal preference.
Yeah.
They both can be waterproof. A lot of them are Gore-Tex. I think the leather is more likely to last a lot longer. Just because of the nature of it, it tends not to get as saturated as like a more of a fabric boot, which does hold a lot more water, and then the Gore-Tex membrane stops it from getting through to your foot. So you do have to look after them both. Personally, I've moved towards more of a leather boot. So when it comes to my hiking boot, if I'm just going out on a hike, I'll use a Maindel Bhutan, which is a boot that I've
Bingo.
It was actually recommended to me a good few years ago by an
Yeah.
Evertrekker on a training weekend who said she had the same boots for 11 years. Wow, what boots are they? I go through 50 a week. She recommended these boots, and I thought, okay, I'll try them. And not only did I find them really comfortable from the get-go, they required no wearing in, which was a surprise. They also helped a lot with my footing and a dodgy knee. But then again, you know, I do have another pair of La Sportivas that are more of a mixture of like a hard plastic and fabric.
Yeah.
They're Gore-Tex and they're designed for trekking, but they're also C2 crampon compatible. So I would say,
nice, mate.
If it's a hiking boot, I would say try on multiple pairs.
Yeah.
Wear them around the house for a good few hours, and then if they don't work, send them back. Try another pair.
Definitely, you know, definitely personal preference, isn't it? There's so many different boots out there. I mean, obviously we can talk about Maindels all day, you know, but then we've used other boots that are just as good. You know, we're just attached to them boots at the moment, you know, literally.
Yeah, I couldn't believe.
Hence the reason why bingo is happening all the time. But hey, yeah, and great to get some feedback as well. I think it was Jan. Thanks for brilliant tuning, informative and fun. Jan, great stuff, mate. Thanks for joining in. And to everyone else as well. That's hey, Joel, just seen his comments as well. Joel, nice to see you on here, mate.
Joel, I wonder where he was.
I know, I wonder where he was as well. There we go.
What time do you call this, Joel?
I think he's just been enjoying it in the background.
Mate, it's the same time every week. How can you possibly be late?
Wow.
Yeah, mind you, talking of boots, mind, the Keswick Trail magazine had a massive sale, didn't they?
Yeah, they
for
did.
charity. I got a brand new pair of C2 Maindel Jorsey, I think they're called boots.
Yeah.
20 quid.
It's crazy. They were absolutely amazing. That
blew my mind.
Crazy amount of discounts, but yeah, you have to take it when you've been there. You've been crafted. No, honestly,
he's a joker, isn't he?
I know. No, guys, it's been great to catch up again. Yeah, do come next week. We've got a little bit of a treat for you next week, and yeah, promise you it won't be about weather. But it will be about something even more.
Yeah, mate, I'm really looking forward to us doing the tune-in next week. Can't wait.
Brilliant. Anyway, great to see you all, and yeah, we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Salomon GTX 4D, brilliant.